a Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process. And a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
In love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's
As we survive and strive to be stronger.
you are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to Love, Growth, and Freedom.
The different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Hey guys, welcome to Love, Growth, and Freedom with AJ and Dorte. I am glad that you're back here listening to my new episode for today and that you are interested in knowing what we have in store for today. So we've been talking about, the idea of love, maybe you're not meant to fit in, comparing yourself to others, and so many more. These are the things that we kind of think at the back of our heads, and we don't realize that this is something that means a lot to us. So on today's episode, it's going to be more about a thing that's prevalent during this time. So my question for you is, have you ever had to cancel someone out of your life? Canceling someone means you are going to remove them or just pluck them out of your life because they are very problematic for you, or they are people who choose not to grow. In this episode, you'll be discussing cancel culture. What are the repercussions? Why is it prevalent nowadays? And how it's carried out and the effects of it. And also, I'm going to be having a special guest today, which is Ryan Tresplacios, who is a good friend of mine. We did a live hosting gig together, and we went into this competition together, and then we've been connected ever since. And we're going to talk about cancel culture and how it kind of affects the minds of young people like me and other people who likes to do their things in social media. Before we start this week's episode, we would like to give our special thanks to our media partner, Ambidextr. Ambidextr is a digital content marketing company that offers tons of great services ranging from graphic design, content writing, and media relations, and many more awesome services. If you guys are interested in availing their services, I've linked their socials, websites, and email down below. Ambidextr will launch an Ambi blog series which features different podcasts. Every week, they will be posting a blog feature on different podcasts based in the Philippines. We are excited to be part of such an exciting series, and we can't wait for you to see this. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Ambidextr, for having us. And check them out, and I'll be putting their descriptions and links down below. So I want to get into this idea of what cancel culture is. Why is cancel culture so prevalent in times like these? And what does it bring to the table? Why is it something that a lot of us, younger generations, enjoy doing this cancellation thing? I think, for me, in my perspective, that people nowadays know what is good for them and what's wrong for them, what's not right for them, and they are able to choose the people that they want to have surrounding them, supporting them, and the environment that they want to keep for themselves. And I believe with this cancel culture, we have, the intentions were good. I think the intentions were to actually call out on people who has been or who is being problematic at certain points in time. And I've already seen this in many things that happen in our world today, and they've been canceling artists, celebrity, public figures from left and right for their past mistakes, or some of them their recent mistakes. And I've seen how devastating this could be to one person and also their mental health. So what is cancel culture? As we speak, it is removing or withdrawing of support for public figures in response to problematic behaviors. Now, canceling has been so rampant and people have been unforgiving toward public figures and people in general. We all talk about public figures having this power of, or sphere of influence, that we hold them to a higher standards than we hold ourselves and the peers that we have around us, because they are, their influence is higher or farther than the reach of other people, and they get to lead people to follow their lives and see their lives, where it's going and how is it being lived. We put so much pressure on them to be a perfect little person for all of us, but we tend to forget that they're also human and that they do a lot of things and they also make a lot of mistakes. With cancel culture, we have been quick to cancel and quick to judge people, especially public figures, but I believe it's kind of a balancing act, because when you do cancel someone, you call out on someone, you call them out for doing something problematic, and I I'll get on to with that later, but let's discuss what cancel culture is. In this day and age, it's like everyone is expected to be perfect, free from making mistakes, and learning from them. Canceling can be just simply cutting people off of your life because they're toxic. I'm all for that, but note that sometimes
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com, because we're stronger together.
people are learning to unlearn some traits that we don't recognize as okay anymore. So I would like to dive deeper into that idea or topic. It's because cancel culture has been quick to judge, quick to cancel, quick to just, say you're not good enough, you're not supposed to be followed anymore because of all your problematic remarks, quirks, and whatever. We all know that some of the things that we are wired to remember based on society, based on a lot of things, are because of our environment, how we grew up, and most of the time we have been desensitized of other people's plight because we're so selfish, we are so, thinking about our own things and thoughts, that we forget that we kind of have a responsibility to all of us as a community. With this one, I believe that I think everybody should have a chance to actually grow. My own criteria for canceling someone is if they refuse to grow or change. I would always try to call them out for the things that they've done wrong. I try to call them out, set them straight, and say, this is what you've done. I've been toxic. I've been annoyed about this. I've been upset with this. And you've been deliberately hurting me and being toxic around me. If you choose to stay that way, I would have no choice but to cut you off from my life. What I usually do is I cut them off, but I leave some room to grow. What does that mean? I give them a chance to actually, you know, change. I give them a second chance when I meet them again. For example, I cut someone off, and because this person kind of like really ticked me off in the wrong way, and it really did mess with my inner peace. So I was like, okay, let me tell you, I'm gonna give you one last shot. Get your shit together, and if not, then I might have to go. I might have to let you go because you're not helping me. I'm trying to help you out and you don't want it and you're blaming me and you keep retaliating at me. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I'd have to go. And then this is a true story though. Was a best friend in college. I really, really I cared for her and I was helping her out and I was calling her out that her behavior was actually very problematic now. And I think I was telling her that she needs to toughen up and straighten things up so that you do things responsibly, you have parties well responsibly, or have fun responsibly. And I've been telling her that. And I one day I was just like, you know what, okay, she wants to be that way, there's nothing I can do about it, let her have her way. And years after graduating, everything, we've met each other in a photo shoot, and I've seen her grow from the person who she was back then. She is now successful in her own like career. She's been doing whatever she wants now, and she's a girl boss. She's been just, you know, being her authentic self. And I believe the reason why she wasn't really happy then because it wasn't her choice being in that degree. So we all have our different places and paces in life, and I did cancel her because it was really messing with my mental peace, and I really did try to help her, but I left her room to grow. When I saw her, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, when I've been seeing her posts and stories, I'm like, okay, wait, I'm glad that she turned her life around. I'm glad that she turned it around and took control of it, because now she's doing something that she extremely loves, and she's happy and amazing. So that's one. I just provide, I give a little space. Um, this was born out of a trend of calling someone out, actually. So cancel culture, I guess, came into the word cancel culture, or let me cancel you, came into, like, I've been doing my research. I think it came with the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement is where, like, I forgot what Me Too movement is, but it came with the Me Too movement. And in one TV show, I forgot which TV show is again. There was one time this girl, I think, called someone, I'll cancel you, or you're canceled. And that's where it all actually began. While it's important to understand that calling someone out on their mistakes or shortcoming has its benefits, calling someone out actually straightens them up and gives them a sense of, wait, you're doing something wrong. Let me fix it, or I hope you get to fix it. But if done in a matter of trying to condemn someone and not allow room for growth, may cause more harm than good. We have to keep in mind that people, when being called out or being reprimanded, would automatically have a fight or flight response. They would either be aggressive against you and be in denial of what he or she has done, because he or she hasn't processed this, but they would have that. It's either they will fight from you or they would avoid the conversation. So if it was done in an aggressive way, okay, if you were aggressive and calling that person out and we're just like, let's fight, let's bring it on. But if it was done in a manner of love and respect, and like, hey, you've been doing this and I don't appreciate it, if that's one thing, the way you do it, it's probably going to be easier. But if you guys try to just condemn someone and say, you're not this condemnation comes from a lot of things, and we all know condemning someone usually ends up more harm than good. If you condemn a gay person because they're gay, you condemn people like that, you really just don't give them this chance of renewal, of, you don't motivate them to become better people. You just tell them that you are, effed up, and you are not doing the best you can, and you are just messing things up. It just gives them this feeling of nobody wants them around. So is it okay just to cancel someone? That's a question that we all ask. Well, for me, as human beings, I don't think it's okay to just cancel someone, because we are all humans. We have different experiences. We have different ideas of how the world should be for us. And we all have those complexities of the human brain and human mind is determined by a lot of factors. And sometimes we don't recognize that these factors affect us more than it should and it could. I don't think it's okay to just cancel someone, because I believe in growth. I believe that they could change. What I would like to offer here is that if they are extremely toxic, canceling a. So, what I would like to say here is that you always have to give someone a room. This room of allowing them to grow. When you call them out, the step here is call them out, allow them to grow. If they don't change and they deliberately do the same things that they want to do and still cause harm, I think that's okay to cancel. You can just, give them that space, step yourself away. This cancellation thing is not a term that just came around. We've been doing this for a while now. We've been cutting people off in our lives who don't actually benefit us, not because we want them to benefit us, but they take away the energies that we have in this world. For example, it's like not being flocked with the people who does the same things, who does bad things that you don't like to do. It's really more of that. We step away from the sphere that doesn't give us peace and a good mental state. So it's kind of okay that you cancel someone if they are toxic and they still deliberately stay toxic, because that's not something that you want to keep in your life. If there are people who drains away your inner peace and deliberately tries to get you in trouble, if there are people who are jealous of you and he just wants to bring you down, yes, that's okay to cancel. Just leave them be. Just go on with your life, move forward, and just understand that they have their own things to deal with and let them go. That's my way of canceling. You don't really have to say, oh, he's canceled, cancel him, everybody. Nope. You just say canceled for you, like canceled. If they grow up and change the things that they were canceled for, I think it's okay to give them the benefit of the doubt and the chance to prove themselves. So yeah, that's what I keep telling you. Give them space, give them room. People grow. through experiences, maybe you're the one. Okay, if you were watching Grey's Anatomy, this could be it. They have this, what they call the one, your surgery, that failed surgery that would haunt you forever and that would make you a better person and would lead you to that idea of, I want to be a better surgeon. I want to be the best surgeon there could be. So it's that thing. Maybe you're there, the one. Maybe you're the one person that would make them realize that what they're doing is not good and that they have to change and they have to become better people for themselves and for their community. I think canceling someone temporarily is better. I would like to, invite this idea of just trying to walk away and giving some space from the people that takes away your inner peace. Um, I have canceled a few people in my life because they have hurt me and they're toxic. Namely, the person who spilled the tea on my sexuality to my dad. I was outed by a person, and I've canceled this person for a while because I've actually canceled this person because first off, she never apologized, and she made me look like
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking on the subscribe button now. This podcast is possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
I've been craving for that attention. But what she did was actually still very wrong, and she never apologized for it. And I don't think she ever regretted it. She's just, gonna stick by her word. So I guess that's a really good reason to keep her canceled because she doesn't want to say sorry. But if you ask me, I think I've forgiven her, and I actually thank her and I'm grateful for her because look at me now and my dad. My dad and I have been amazing. Our relationship has been good. I really love my dad, and it's been working really well. But we've got things to work through. Adults have things like that, but we're working it on, or we're working it out. But whenever I see some of those people change and accept their faults and mistakes, it's easier for me to realize that they're growing and learning too. So that's it. You just really want to understand, or you want to see that people are also growing and changing and learning to be that. So I just want to say, don't be quick to cancel someone. In this day and age of social media, canceling someone is as easy as blocking them and spreading the word to cancel that person. We don't see the other lives of celebrities, public figures, and maybe the things that they say are because of the heat of the moment, because of the emotions. And I get it that they do have the responsibility to hold their tongues and to really realize or think about things before they do it. It's just, you have to realize that this happens to you too. As a regular person, we all have impulses and things that happen to us that we can't control. So that's one. We have to give them a little, space to just grow. My way of doing this is when I see someone, for example, we have J.K. Rowling, we have a lot of other people, Eddie Redmayne, who defended J.K. Rowling for her sexist remarks about transgender women and men and people. I'm I'm gonna cancel her though. I did cancel her, but I've never been like the one to say, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna listen. I'm gonna go." No, I'm just gonna say I cancel her. I'm not her supporter. I don't support her argument here, but I would like to say that this is my side. But I'm gonna cancel her. I'm not gonna like further, give her my support or say I love J.K. Rowling because in truth, we do have a lot of differences in the idea of accepting transgender people, and they're part of my community. We are part of a marginalized community, and we are meant to be seen. But what we also have to realize is they're humans. We could teach them in a way that they have to realize that on their own and their own experiences. And you have to understand that what she feels, she is probably a radical feminist. I don't even know what she is, but this might be coming from a place of hurt and other things. So I guess it's okay to cancel, but I don't think you're supposed to spread hate. Sometimes canceling someone is an excuse to hate someone. It's an excuse to actually spread more hate than good. So instead of just canceling someone, people in this social media try to go for the people who makes mistakes and throw death threats, throw words, throw whatever that is, whatever they do. So we have to keep in mind that humans, which is us, have things that are going on in our lives, and that we, you know, let's be kind, please. I don't understand. I'm here, and I've been. Trust me, I'm a marginalized community. I'm gay, and I'm effeminate, and I am at like inside the community, there's still like biases to masculine, whatever, feminine, whatever. And I believe it's a root because of society deeming masculine qualities better than feminine qualities. But like, guys, y'all are y'all are missing out. Feminine power is amazing, but you see how it also is like part of it is because of society, and it's not because of that person per se. So are you really just going to cancel the person, or are you going to educate the person and then say, wait, maybe you have to learn about this, and if you don't want to change, well, then I should go walk away. Sometimes ignorance is not the person's fault, but continually living or constantly living in ignorance is. Some are trying to change. If they choose to say that way, well, that's on them. I told you, call them out, let them know what they're doing wrong, and walk away. And then if they change, that's good. You've realized you are that one person that nudged them in the right direction. All I'm trying to say is give them a fair chance before you cancel them. Sometimes ignorance is not the person's fault, but yes, again, living in ignorance is their choice. My thoughts on cancel culture is that it has benefits because you get to ask people to be accountable for their actions, but sometimes it gets out of hand. We use this as a tool to spread hate, to spread, bad things, rather than just saying, okay, you're canceled because you did this, calling them out. You drive them down the dirt and you give them mental stress, and you don't even give them a chance to explain their side. And sometimes I find that a little violent. I find that a little too much, because maybe that person at that very moment speaking it was also hurting of that idea, or that person was thinking of something else that actually caused that person to hate that thing. And we have to look into that. And we all know this happens. Like, there's white privilege, there's so many other things. We talk about those, and that's prevalent, that's present in our society. But I think canceling someone because they're not sure of how they use their white privileges. I remember there's this one thing that artists, Gal Gadot and some other people, were singing "Heal the World" and whatsoever, and within their yachts and whatever. And a lot of people call them out on that being insensitive and whatever. You've realized that they kind of like, okay, wait, we're all in a different state. And sometimes it's their way of coping and sometimes it's not. But I appreciate when they called them out, it was like, okay, wait, guys, let's see how, let's take a notch down and see where we actually can really make a difference and help. So, we've been seeing all those, we've been having all those in the past year, in the past months, especially during this pandemic, that a lot of people have been very problematic. And I guess a lot of people who has time for social media now gets to see that, and it's really bad to F up now. But we have to realize that we're all coping we're all coping with how the world is going on, or what's going on with the world right now, because everything that's happening feels to be like the world is falling apart. And not all people are mentally as strong as each and every one of us to just muddle through it, but most of it, some are just having breakdowns, and some are, but I don't want to make excuses for people who stay in that state. So my take on this is that, cancel people when you need to. Be stern with it, but try it in a way where you want to spark change, where you want to nudge them in the right direction, not because you just don't want to be dealing with them anymore. I think it would be your responsibility to nudge them in that right direction. So I told you my version of cancel culture, giving them time to grow, giving them like that benefit of the doubt when I see them again in person or see them again in my life. So there were also situations where the past mistakes of people are used against them in the present, even if they grew and changed. It's like learning from their mistakes isn't allowed. That's what I hate about cancel culture. It's because a lot of people have been digging dirt on artists, public figures, and other people who had racist remarks then, who were probably too young to do that, who were also probably too whatever, and maybe they changed, maybe they grew up from that. And I hated how people are using those to just cancel and get clout, to just, say that this person was bad. Let's have it there. Let's see how she or he is doing right now, and if has changed, if she has changed, if she's doing something towards that future that is trying to better the world and the society. Why does it have to matter? I know it does. You can just call it out, but I don't think you can cancel. Why would you cancel someone who has done that in the past, who probably hasn't realized it? Fortunately, some people are very aware of that. For example, Paramore, see pop culture references. Paramore, Haley Williams of Paramore, said in 2020 or 2019 in a concert that she wouldn't be singing Misery Business anymore. Why? Because Misery Business have been promoting that song, has been promoting a wrong sense of misogyny or a sense of misogyny where they slut shame the girl who gets with the guy. So, and she's aware, and the fact that she does that, well, if everybody liked that song, would we cancel them now because they had that song before, and that's very problematic? So, see where I'm heading at? See where I'm getting you at? Again, the world is already a harsh place. That at least the least we could do is to be a little more understanding of each other and the people and the situations that are surrounding all of us. Okay, so my tips are to take the way that you could cancel someone now is to take the time to assess and evaluate people first before canceling them. Really realize that if what they're doing is something that you can't handle anymore, and if you think it's still happening and you call them out on it and they keep on doing it, you can cancel them. But try to give them room to grow. Just let them see. And I want you to remember that it's a matter of unlearning and learning the things that we've learned about society and unlearning all the bad things that we don't want to know about anymore, like gender roles, gender stereotypes, and so many more. We have to keep an open mind and learn all those new stuff. All right, before we get on to the next part of the show, Lazada fans, I'm also in Lazada Live. You can watch me and try to win some coins there. But yeah, Lazada, I do have a link down below. You can check them out. You can check awesome stuff there and see what you can get. I also have a 100 peso voucher off if you're a new user, and also other products like Oxycure, Band-Aid, alcohol, and the Oxycure anti-acne or acne clear potion. So again, let's hit our commercial.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom. And today I have with me is Ryan Tresplacios, our Blog Live host and financial advisor. So, can you tell us more about yourself, Ryan? How did you become a host, and what do you do now, and as a financial advisor? So, please do introduce yourself. Go.
Ayun, to everyone who's watching and listening right now, all over the globe, syempre we're expecting everyone to be watching and listening
Yes.
all over the
Claim.
globe. So yeah, as stated kanina with Adrian, I am a blog live host, Finale Search, and also I'm also doing financial advising with Sun Life. So I have ventured into hosting ever since I was in college, Adrian. I think, yeah, it was just because I'm good in communication, good in English language. That's why a friend told me, alam mo, you can be a host. So parang from that point on, I felt that this is something I'd want to do. This is something I can be passionate about. And
Mm-hmm.
also in financing, a lot of people, most especially here in the Philippines, would need talaga financial planning because we're basically just savers. We'd want to put our money inside the bank. That's why I ventured also into financial advising for people to know what other platforms can they put their money into. So those are some of the things I'm doing currently right now.
Well, that's
There.
good. I mean, I've got a lot of friends who are also financial advisors, and it's a good place to start in when you're young. As of now, it's really important, especially in the crazy world where we live in. It's really important to be financially literate, at least prepared for what the adversity comes. When adversity comes, you're prepared. So I encourage you all, guys,
Sure.
if you need to invest in something, if you want to learn more about financial planning, you can hit up Ryan Tresplacios. Ryan, where could we follow you? Where could they see you other than Blogapalooza? Please do it. Let us know where you could still follow you. Yeah.
Yes, you can follow me on all social media accounts that is available for everyone. It's really always at Ryan Tresplacio. So my surname goes Tresplacios at Tango, Rambo, Echo, Shera, Papa Lima, Alpha, Charlie, Indigo, Oman, Shera. So that's how you spell it. So it's kind of difficult, but I hope you can follow me, guys. I'll be following you back.
Guys, you should not miss that. That was very specific to all of you. Thank you, Ryan. I am glad that you're here. I'm just so happy to have you. I've been seeing I we Ryan and I go away. We met at Blog Live host search, and it's been great seeing how Ryan's going. I'm just so glad to have Ryan in my side. I really just am glad for the universe because he gave me a person that I could look up to. I've been really, being supportive of him
Wow,
is really,
thank
really
you, thank
good.
you.
And he was so good during that competition. I was like, okay, this guy's gonna land a spot, and he did. It's just all good. I was all there. It was, and then when I watched the finale of Vlog Live Search, I was just like, whoa, that was a hard thing. Like that was like,
Yeah,
it felt like a finale of a show, like a PBB finale where you're like the top five.
true.
It's just, I felt the nerves,
It
even if
was
I
really
wasn't a
impromptu.
contestant. Yeah, that was just amazing. You guys, you did really, really well. So on today's episode of Love, Growth, and Freedom, we are going to talk about cancel culture. I've been talking about this
Cancel
in the past
culture.
few minutes, and I want to know your thoughts on cancel culture, Ryan. What do you think about cancel culture?
For cancel culture, my basic thoughts about that, it's really prevalent nowadays. I mean, people have been very vocal about telling things that are really upfront to people without really being compassionate on how they tell it. For me, there are pros and cons about it. There are pros on one side, disadvantages on the other side. But for me, it's a mixture of both. If you do canceling on a different level, wherein you're keying different values, considering others people's emotions as well, it will be on a better side. But if you're just canceling of because you're coming from your ego, it's something that disadvantages to both sides. So I think
Exactly.
yeah, cancel culture is really prevalent nowadays, and I hope people can balance on the pros and cons of this certain culture right now.
Exactly. Cancel culture is so, I guess, prevalent. I've been saying that also. It's so easy to cancel someone, in social
True.
media when they make a mistake. It's like everybody's just like watching for you to make a mistake and stumble and be like, oh, let's cancel you. And
Tama.
it's been apparent in social media, diba? Like Buknoy. Well, though she, for me, what she did was disrespectful. Everything was, it was problematic. But what led me to think about that more of a problematic side is when she did not want to apologize, or when she apologized, it was a double-edged sword where I'm sorry pero, or I'm sorry because you felt that way. It wasn't a genuine apology. And for me, I did not cancel her. I'm just like, okay, wait, this is not a person I would want to support or be actually looking up to. But I hope she changes. I
True.
hope she learns from whatever that is. And yeah, so cancel culture basically, yeah, as you said, has its pros and cons. So have you ever like canceled someone? And what basis did you cancel this person?
Hmm, that's pretty a tough question. I think I've canceled a lot of people in my life already. Not totally
Mm-hmm.
canceled, but um, maybe I associated myself limitedly to these people because I felt that I'm growing differently on a different path as well. I mean, friends would always think that we will be friends all throughout our lifetime. We can be friends, but if you think that your past your past self should not be associated to your present and future anymore. You'd want to be associating yourself limitedly to these people. That's why I think that's more of a form of canceling for me. And my consideration to that, just like what I said, if ever I felt that these people are wouldn't be beneficial to my growth and to whatever bigger person I see in myself in the future. That's kind of ways of me or considerations I really consider whenever I'm canceling out people.
Yeah. Well, I think what we're trying to say here is we kind of outgrew them. I don't think we cancel.
Mm-hmm.
That's me also. I don't cancel people,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's just when they do something toxic, I walk away just
Mm-hmm.
because I called you out. My role here, I usually just call them out and tell them what they
Mm-hmm.
do. And then Diba? That's the way to do it eh. You let them know what they
Yeah,
did wrong. Para naman they
true.
have that benefit of the doubt that they could change. You given them a chance to change. And if they continuously do it, diba parang you just have to walk away. You kind of just outgrew them because
Mm-hmm.
you're chasing a better path for you. And it's not that you treat it as a transaction, but if these people, take away your inner peace and hold you back,
Mm.
why would you want to keep them? it's not that
True, true.
it's not that you're mean enough to just throw them off the bus, but if you've done your part, pick them up. You want them to follow you, and just like let's bring it up together. And they don't want it. There's no use in bringing that person along, right? There's
Yeah,
no.
true.
You've already done your part. You've reached your hand out, and you're like, let's go. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So obviously, with that in mind, do you believe that people change, and would you be, for example, reacquainted with that people that you outgrew before? For
Mm-hmm.
example, you meet them at a time in your life where you're, oh, that bigger
Mm-hmm.
person that you wanted to be, the
Mm-hmm.
growth that you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to experience. Like, are you open? Do you believe that ever happens, that we cross paths again and reconnect at that level? Yeah.
Yes, I think yeah, it's a yes for me. I really believe that people will ever change. I mean, I give people the benefit of the doubt whenever I cancel people as well, and whenever we cross paths, or me on a personal scenario or on a personal standpoint, whenever I cross paths with people I've canceled before, I really think on a level that this person has already changed, and I am my purpose in life is really for the service of others, and I'd want to be touching a lot of people's lives as well. So if ever there's a reason that I've canceled this person before, maybe there's a reason why we met again, and that certain reason might be I can influence him to a certain point that he may not be canceled anymore in my life, or he may be the a different person that may affect other people as well.
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise at guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
In future like that.
Oh my God. See, I've made the right decision inviting Ryan, and we do. I love how he's in service, but he lives for servicing people, like, in the service of a lot of people. And you do that. Your job is to
Mhm.
bring joy as a host, and also you try to secure people's future
True.
with your financial
Yeah.
planning. That's really good. I'm really glad that we're on the same plate on same page on this one, because again, this is love, growth, and freedom. We acknowledge growth here, and there's change. I believe that people do have to get that chance of learning from
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
past and their mistakes. So, um, can you let's dive in deeper and let's get a little more personal. If you've ever canceled someone, was it because of their, like, what were your reasons for that? Were they toxic? Were they just really not, like, for example, you can't bring them along with your journey in your life? And we all know there's a natural law of entropy that sometimes things really do have to end for it to
Hmm.
grow and flourish. So,
True.
like,
Hmm.
so for you, have you ever canceled someone because what are your if you have ever canceled on someone, what were the reasons of canceling someone on your end?
On my personal standpoint, again, I'm really
Yes.
the kind of person who'd want to be the bigger person in every situation. Like, I'm totally understanding. I'm a totally patient person whenever there's someone that's really toxic. But if I felt that you're already the kind of person who's not helping yourself on an individual standpoint, that you are hurting yourself already, I'm the kind of person who really asks you to choose. If you cannot love yourself, how can I help you? That's really
Mm-hmm.
one big question I always ask people. That I love you as a person, I love you as a friend, but I'm seeing that you're already being toxic to yourself. And if you cannot choose yourself on situations that's happening already in your life, I may be choosing to really leave you, because I'd want you to realize things all on your own, because I think as a friend or as a person, I've already given so much to you. And for me, there's also one consideration, Adrian, that I always consider when I'm loving other people, because we
Okay.
as a person, or on my personal standpoint, again, I,
Mm-hmm.
as a person, I already have just an amount to give to other people. Meaning to say, I love myself more than 100%. Let's put it in a percentage basis. I love myself over 100%. So the 100% will be for me. And if ever I get to a point that, oh, I love myself 125% today, so let's say that for as an example, I can
Yeah,
give to other people the 25%. But if I felt that I am beyond already or leading toward less than 100, that's a point that I will already be giving up to you, because you've already reached to the point that I've already given so much and I cannot
exactly.
really give more than what I have for myself already. That.
And yeah, that's a good perspective. I love the percentage, but that's also good because if you can, you only can give as much as you can because you also
Yeah.
give it to yourself. The
Hmm.
idea
Hmm.
of self love, and now I think it's growing. It a lot of people think that self love is a little selfish,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
that idea again is we have to keep ourselves standing up before we try to
Hmm.
help other people. We can't be
True.
crutches when we don't stand up on our own 2 feet. That's also true because yeah, I guess that's a good consideration when you're trying to cancel someone because it really if they're a person they're kasi people who when you try to help them they don't really want to help themselves up. And if that's
Hmm.
the case, I
Hmm.
get that. I understand that that's
Yeah.
a good consideration to actually walk away, not cancel,
Hmm.
but walk away from the situation because it's not going to lead up to any good because that person doesn't choose to help him or herself up. How do you expect
True.
whatever you're doing is going to amount to anything? It's also a good idea because you try to tell them how to fish. Do you know that proverb? I don't know. It's from the Bible. Teach a man to or give a man a fish, he won't learn how to fish. Would not have nothing to eat the next day because you gave him. But teach a man to fish, he'll be able to figure out how to get his own food.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So that's a lot of other things. Okay, so let's get a little more personal naman here. Growing up ba, did you
Hmm.
ever have like bullies? Because I did. I actually did. Then ngayon lang ako nag-uncancel ng mga bullies
Hmm.
kasi like
Hmm.
syempre I grew up I grew up as a part of the LGBTQIA community, and then it was really tough on me. I had bullies, and I never quite had the chance to process these before, but I was like
Hmm.
immediately cancel or immediately like, okay, this person is a cross mark for me. Never again will I ever meet this person. But nowadays, when I see their posts from afar, I'm like, okay, that person changed. Well, that's good. I, you no longer cancel them, but you're just like, okay, you acknowledge that
Yeah.
something has changed and they
Has changed.
grew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, so have you ever had those kinds of like epiphanies, yung mga moments na parang, oh, they changed na pala. Ganon.
Yes. I guess it was back in high school when I'm a little fatter, and I'm really studious back in high school, and I'm the kind of person who's very charming to a lot of teachers, um, to my classmates. So bullies will ever pick on me because I am everyone's friend. And there's this certain guy. He's really intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I am more studious. So there's a certain point when I was in high school that um, it was a battle between me and him with the honor roll, like that, the honor roll, and I got the spot. And that certain point, my advice to everyone, and I guess this is what I really did during that time, that I always focus on myself. There will be a lot of bashers, there will be a lot of bullies around, but you just have to focus on your growth. You have to focus on yourself, because the only person that would know myself is really just me. And whatever bullying they will do towards me, or whatever bashing I will get from other people, it will just be me knowing if I should entertain it. If it's something constructive, I will grow from it. But if not, I think this is just them attacking me. I will clearly just not let it inside my head. So
Yeah.
there are moments like that in my life, and and I'm happy. I'm happy. Actually, there are a lot of reunions where we met, and they're already shocked actually with how I've grown as a person as well, and I'm also happy with how they've grown. And there were moments that I would always also give them inputs about certain life situations wherein they'd want to grow as well, or they'd really ask for my inputs about their life situations. And I'm happy that we came to that level already, that they were acknowledging that they need, or they need advice or help from other people for them to also grow and to realize things that they've done in the past.
Yeah,
There.
it's really a nice feeling now when people
Mm-hmm.
actually grow from
Mm-hmm.
like those things of the past. It's really it's a listening to you do that. It's just really great. I'm just really glad that you're here. Thank you so much for wanting to go to do this episode with me. It was just really a
Of
really
course.
good thing, and thank you for giving me time at a late time this night. Thank you so much. But okay, so to end all of this, I would want to ask another, like, I know you gave a message to our listeners out here, but what message would you want our listeners to hear from you? What can you tell them? It's either about canceling, about growth, about change, anything that you want to say to our dear listeners out there. And also, please tell us again where we could follow you and what we could expect from your contents too. So just go. Gesundheit.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. I guess the message I'd want to really give out to people is not to be a victim of others. Always focus on yourself, and be careful with canceling people. It's not being a bandwagoner that you, because it's prevalent nowadays, you'd be canceling that easily. You'd have to be the bigger person all the time. And whenever you're canceling, come from values, not from ego. When we say coming from values, always be coming out of love, coming out of honesty when you tell the other person whatever the reason you're canceling them, and not coming from the ego or pride that I'm canceling you out because I think you're not you're not someone for me, or you're not a person I'd want to be with. Whenever you'll cancel people, come from grounds and courage to tell them the reasons if you can. And in connection to ghosting, don't do that as well, diba? Like that. Parang whenever you're canceling people, don't just ghost them to cancel them as well. Be careful whenever you speak out your thoughts, because again, our words are really piercing. So it will really hurt a lot of people as well. So if you come from values, especially love and honesty, it will really just be for their growth. And I guess the last message again is not to be a victim of other people and to first love yourself. So again, this is me, Ryan Tresplacios, and you can follow me on all social media accounts at Ryan Tresplacios. And please do subscribe to Blogapalooza page, because you can always watch us there. And watch out for the next contents that I'll be doing. It will be vlog, and also I am considering a podcast. But for now, we'll see on the coming months. The last quarter of 2020, it will be really great for everyone. And if ever you need financial advising, I also do Sun Life. So thank you so much, Adrian, and to all those who are watching and listening us tonight here in Love, Growth, and Freedom. And we are talking about cancel culture. So I guess just be the bigger person for everyone, and first love yourself. Thank you.
All right, what a wonderful and heartfelt message. You have a way with words. I love it. I was like, you did it. Okay, thank you so much, Ryan. And thank you, everyone, for reaching the end of our episode. So, with that, I would like to close this and say thank you, guys, and thank you, lovies, for listening to this week's episode of Love, Growth, and Freedom.
Enjoy this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerrillapodcast.com.au or guerrillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.